Can you close the door?
Here we go.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Take a seat.
I am. Thank you. Welcome.
It's Weekly Wednesday with...
Yes, I'm Colin.
And I'm Kelly.
Thanks for joining us again this week.
Yep.
And the topic that we're going to talk about today is something in your home that has gotten a lot of work the last few days.
Exactly.
And that is your sump pump. So with as much rain as we've got like 4 to 5 inches of rain, right?
I'm sure we need more, but it's coming down in buckets and short spans of time. And
that's kind of the problem. So hopefully you haven't noticed how much work your sump pump has been doing. It's been doing its job exactly, what it's supposed to be doing. But we've had, an influx of jobs come in from, water in people's basements and things of that nature. So wanted to go over kind of what the sump pump does in case you're not super familiar, and reasons why they fail, and just some general info so you can have that information in the back of your mind, so something that you can check on when you get home just to make sure everything's working properly.
Yeah. So homes with basements or crawl spaces are perfect candidates for sump pumps. I mean, most of the new construction today, they already have them.
Sure.
But this is primarily, if you have an older home, you definitely want to make sure that you have one. I know one house I had, it didn't have one, and guess what? It flooded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It's kind of inevitable if you don't have one. So.
Right, yeah. It was built in the 19-something, I don't know, hundreds, something like that. So sump pumps should be installed at the lowest level of the basement because the sump pump pushes the water away from the house before it even reaches the basement floor level. So many times the sump pump removes the water by pumping it into a dry well or a storm drain. So that's good. And definitely battery backup. We've talked about this a couple of times. Wise investment.
Absolutely.
That, you get a bad storm, lightning strikes.
Yeah. We just had that, yeah.
Yeah,
we were
over the weekend.
In a neighborhood in our territory, not the entire neighborhood, but part of it, the power went out, and, the people that didn't have a battery backup for their sump pump.
Exactly.
Completely out of luck. So,
right.
All of a sudden you have water in your basement. So,
yeah.
Even if you have the best sump pump, 5,000 GR, it's not really a brand, but you could have the best sump pump in the world. If the power goes out and you don't have a battery backup, it's not going to work. So
right, exactly.
Definitely something that you want to look into.
So the other thing is some pump lines can freeze just like water lines.
Sure.
I don't recall having that issue very often, at least not this year. So.
Right, but it's definitely possible.
Right, because it's just like water lines, like any other water line. So. Yeah. I mean, definitely want to test your sump pump at least once every 3 months. And the way to do that is grab a 5-gallon bucket, fill it with water, and slowly pour that water into the pump until the float triggers and activates your pump. Watch the water level drop, and if everything's working properly, the pump will shut off once the water drops below that level. So, these are definitely good reasons to have a sump pump.
Absolutely.
Now, Colin, tell us why they break down.
Sure. I will, Kelly.
Thank you, Colin.
This is my radio voice, by the way. Our coworker Diana loves when I do the radio voice.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, no, six reasons I'm going to go over why some pumps will fail. First one we kind of already talked about, power failure. So if you don't have that battery backup, power goes out, some pump won't work. Very, very simple. Second reason is a stuck switch, and this is the most common mechanical reason that a sump pump will go out. So this is going to happen when the pump shifts in the basin, and that's going to cause the float, and the float is kind of what operates the sump pump, to get stuck against the basin wall, which then it won't operate properly. So something to keep an eye on there. And something that we saw in the last few days is another reason why they fail is that the sump pump is just overwhelmed. So we get so much water in a short period of time, the sump pump just can't keep up. The water keeps going, and the sump pump fails. So if you're ever in a situation like we were a few days ago where that we are just getting pounded with rain, or in the early spring to where there's a bunch of snow that's going to be melting, if there's going to be a lot of water at once, you're going to want to keep checking on your sump pump to make sure that it's keeping up and working properly. We talked about the frozen pipe which is another reason that they can fail. Reason number 5, lack of maintenance. So like any appliance or anything in your home, you need to make sure that you're keeping up with the maintenance on your sump pump, making sure that, like Kelly just went over, how you can check to make sure that it's working. You want to, just make sure that things are in proper working order every so often so that you don't have any surprises. And finally, old age can be, one of the biggest reasons, and the biggest things that people find out is like, oh, my sump pump is 10 years old and it just failed. Now I need a new one. So you want to try
old age.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's kind of down there in your basement. Hopefully it's working properly for a long time, and then all of a sudden, years go by and you're like, it fails and you're like, oh, this thing was 10 years old. I probably should have replaced it.
Exactly.
So if it's something where you don't know how old your sump pump is, maybe have it inspected or maybe get that maintenance done on it. They'll be able to tell you how old it is. And if it's 7 to 10 years old, even if it has been working properly, you might want to think about replacing it before it breaks and fails because of old age, and then you find yourself with an issue. So
right. Yeah.
Those are all things and reasons why our sump pump can fail. So just kind of look into those and make sure that yours is going to be in proper working order.
Yep.
So.
Great tips. Definitely hope this helps you. And now we have some community news.
Had a bunch of stuff going on, right?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Last weekend we had prom, so that was really nice. The girls had a great time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Graduation's next weekend.
That's right.
So, weekend of Memorial Day.
Okay.
When it'll rain, because it always rains during Memorial Day, right?
It seems that way.
Yeah. So, but this weekend, starting actually the May 17th through the 19th, is the Hampshire Community Garage Sale. So Century 21 New Heritage is sponsoring that. You can check out their website or go to their office in Hampshire, downtown Hampshire, from 8 to 5 p.m. We also shared it on our Facebook page, so you can check there. The City of Elgin Public Works Open House is this Saturday from 10 to 1.
Cool kind of family event that they're doing. Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah.
So you could take your boys there. They have this touch a truck.
Well, it is kind of like it's a whole. I mean, it's for families,
right.
And they're gonna have a lot of, family-friendly activities. So it's kind of a cool thing to bring the kids out to. So
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then on Friday is Cop on Top.
I love this.
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah.
So they're going to be on the rooftops of the Dunkin' Donuts, in support of the Special Olympics. So they have a 5K torch run. I think it's a 5K, but it's a torch run, and so the funds go to Special Olympics. So South Elgin's going to have 3 locations. Elgin will be at the Clock Tower, Dunkin' Donuts in the Clock Tower Plaza. So definitely stop by, thank a police officer for their assistance. Today, their City of Elgin is doing their memorial for fallen officers as well. Just say thanks and support Special Olympics at the same time.
Absolutely.
And then we have our CE classes next week, Thursday.
Next week already.
Yes, it's gone by very quickly. So next week, water remediation and biohazard cleanup.
Yes.
They're 2 credits each. It's going to be hosted at the center of Elgin in downtown Elgin.
Yep.
And
completely free.
Yes, again, no cost to you, free lunch. Who could beat it?
That's it.
Right. So thanks for visiting with us. Hope we helped you with your sump pump issues.
Thanks for joining us this week, and we will talk to you next week.
Yep. Have a great one.
Bye,
Take care.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye.